meeting together for May. First one up is DSS. Bob, are you on?
I know
Bob?
he's showing on. Bob, are you there? All right, maybe we should go to Jess first.
Okay, Jess?
I'm here. First, I was going to talk about the Youth Bureau activities. We're moving forward with summer programming. I have 5 programs right now that are definitely going to municipalities that are going to offer programs. And that is the town of Kinderhook, the town of New Lebanon, the town of Hillsdale, the city of Hudson, and the town of Chatham. They are all doing them kind of on a smaller scale this year, but they're being creative with their programming, and I'm glad that we at least have them to offer. The only thing that's concerning is I think like the city of Hudson might get a little overwhelmed because some of the neighboring communities that are still part of the city school district may want their children to attend those programs because like Livingston's not being offered. And Supervisor Eldridge, did you decide you weren't, because it was mentioned on the host committee meeting the other day that Greenport was definitely not going to have a program?
Correct. We're not having program.
Okay, thank you. But
You're
the
welcome.
park is open though, because I've had calls about that, and it is
The park
open.
is open and the playground's open. We're just not, there's going to be, the baseball, but we are not having the program, the summer program, the playground or whatever. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Jess, you
welcome.
said 5 towns were doing it. You said New Lebanon. Which other ones?
Kinderhook, New Lebanon, it's the town of Kinderhook, so that would be advisor leader. It's
She's muted.
You're muted.
okay.
New Lebanon.
I
Kinderhook,
did
and
speak
lost
with,
you.
what?
New Lebanon, Kinderhook, and then I lost you.
Hillsdale, Hudson, and Chatham.
Yeah, and I did speak with the village of Kinderhook yesterday also, and they're waiting for a town board meeting and to see what they might want to do, because that's a smaller park, that's at Rothermel. And they were just waiting to see if they think it's going to be safe enough to do it and to have kids outside with masks on, which who knows, after tomorrow that may change. And then the no's are, the definite no's now are Greenport, Austerlitz, Ghent, Livingston. And I'm still waiting to hear after board meetings from Copake, Germantown, and Ankrum. I think Ankrum may do a recreation program, but not offer a swim program. Most places are not doing swim programs. Chatham is, though. Chatham's going to do a swim program at Crellin Park, like a structured swim lesson program, not just open to the public.
So Canaan is also doing a structured swim program.
Okay, thank you for letting me know that.
And we do have an independent contractor that's going to be doing art classes for students, but we will not have an afternoon rec program. Okay,
so do you want to apply for funding?
Sure.
Okay, so I'll get in touch with you then. What's your email address out there? Is it supervisor?
Supervisor@canaannewyork.org.
Okay, so I'll get that information to you, because or if one of the other municipalities wants to have their funding allocated to you, I can do that also. I just need a letter from that municipality, and then you will still have to fill out an application, but you would get that funding as well. So if there's any municipality that doesn't want me or my board to choose where the funding is going to go, you can just get in touch with me and I can get it reallocated to wherever you'd like it to go. The Youth Bureau DSS initiatives. Oh, wait a second here. I went ahead of my, oh no, I didn't. I've been meeting with Commissioner Gibson, Jen Gainey, who's the Director of Services here at DSS, and the Deputy Commissioner, Michelle Ublocker. I've gotten all of the information on the agencies that we provide funding to. Of course, I had to give them information from 2019 because 2020 was kind of a bust when it came to providing any services. And those allocations wouldn't have reflected correct amounts. So we're just kind of visiting the idea to see what agencies DSS provides contracts with, and whether there's any duplication of services, and also whether we could possibly find a match through DSS funding to match Youth Bureau funding from OCFS to increase our allocation a little bit more. So I've gotten all that information to them. And now when we met yesterday, we spoke about, I'm going to give them actual descriptions of the agency's, the specific program that we're funding within that agency. Let's see here, where are we? So I'll get that to them, and we have a meeting scheduled, another monthly meeting scheduled in June. Summer tennis programs, Krellin Park is going to offer a summer tennis program. This was in the past part of what I provided as summer programming. Because we don't have a grant this year from the National Junior Tennis League. They didn't put an RFP out. The Youth Bureau cannot provide that funding to these municipalities that want to do the programming. So if approved, I would go out and be the head instructor as an in-kind service. It would probably only be like it's been in the past, like 2 mornings from like 9 to 11. And Krellin Park doesn't think they need me. They think they'll have enough money in their budget to hire instructors, but it's been requested by the Hudson City School District summer program that I do the program. And like I said, in the past, I've always done it, and I've always been the only instructor because you get like 10 or 12 kids in each class, and usually that's 9 to 11 or 9 to 12. They haven't put their entire plan together yet. So I guess when I come back in June, I can maybe put a resolution together and ask for approval to do that. And then I would know what days of week it is and what mornings it will be. They only run until noontime anyway at the school. So it wouldn't be ever past, noontime, if it even goes to noon with the number of kids they have. They're having trouble staffing their program. A lot of the programs are having trouble with staffing. And a lot of kids aren't signing up, I think, because of the fear of still COVID-19. So that would depend on what their registrations look like. On to
Supervisor
OCFS.
Holding has a question, Jess.
Who does?
Supervisor Holding.
Okay.
Hey, this is the first I'm hearing about a summer tennis program. Is this something that's available to all towns where we have you come in and teach tennis? Like, we have tennis courts in our park. Is it something that we have you come out and teach tennis to kids that want to learn tennis?
Yes, that's correct. And I have all of the equipment. And I would bring that out
Okay,
to
I'll
you.
email you.
I don't
And
know why
does it
there's
cost the town something to have you come and do that? Because I've never
no,
heard
you
of
would
this.
do register.
Okay, I'll email you, Jessica. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I don't know why I have like this background noise. It's like echoing.
Yeah,
Should
it's
I
on
turn
her.
off
It's
the mic?
on.
It's your
It's
end,
on
not your
Histria's
end.
end.
Oh, okay. Okay. So for OCFS updates, we had a Bureau of Youth Development call this morning. Our program annual reports have all been received and they're being submitted electronically. So I appreciate everybody, all the supervisors. Well, you guys didn't have programs last year, but all the agencies really moved quickly to get them to me so that I could get them submitted to the state. As I reported last month, I was hoping to get applications out and have them due back by the end of May. But because the state is a little behind, they're working on allocations. We were informed today that there's no funding yet, but in their last stage of approval at the state level. So they're hoping that's going to be in the near future. They didn't really want to give us like a total estimated time. They just said near future. So hopefully we'll have that funding. So they don't have any of the applications uploaded into the Quality Youth Development System yet. So I wasn't able to re-enter and regenerate any of those old applications that would just need updates. So I haven't been able to get those out to all of the municipalities and agencies that want to apply for funding for 2021. As soon as we're given access to that, I'll get moving on that. We have been given access here at DSS and the Youth Bureau to begin working on the children and family services plan. So I have my password and everything that I got from Jen Gainey, Director of Services here at DSS. So I'll begin working on my section, my Youth Bureau section of that. And I also have to complete a section of it now in regard to runaway and homeless youth too. So we all work together on that here at DSS. I have talked with the chairman of the Lions Club as well as the chair of the Junior Olympics. We know that we can't do the Junior Olympics on the large scale this summer, but we thought we might offer those municipalities that are offering programs to just bring what we have to their site and not have, you know, all of the municipalities go to one site and have like 200 or 300 kids. We would offer like to supervisor leader and say, would you like us to come out from 9 to 1 on such and such a day and bring all of our activities with us? And then the Lions provides lunch. And they also provide the supervision at the different sites where the different activities are. We thought we would check with the municipalities rather than just say, no, we're not going to do it. See if they would like us to come to them rather than for them to have to worry about transportation and, you know, all the kids being one place on one full day. That would be like way too much. So we thought we would just offer and say, do you have a day that you would like us to come? And we can just offer the activities and have the ribbons and do a luncheon. And they could also do the bicycle giveaway again for the kid who has the most points for each activity and things like that. So I'll be reaching out to the supervisors, or actually I'll reach out to the supervisors to get the names of the directors at each site that's going to be offered, and see if they would like us to do that, because it doesn't sound like many of the municipalities are going to be doing many field trips and things like that. So if we can bring it to them, we would like to at least be able to offer that. And that's all. Do all of the municipalities, who's on here now? Supervisor leader, you have your director?
Yes,
hired?
I do. Yes, I
Okay,
do.
okay.
We're just waiting on, to be honest with you, we do have counselors signed up, believe it or not, but I mean, I like to get a few more, want some extra ones
Okay,
also.
yeah,
The numbers are down a little bit, but you know, it still hasn't hit, but I'm watching it very carefully. I do have a couple scholarship ones that we're doing. So we have a couple families that are in need of it. So, and they signed up last night. We had 20 sign up last night, which was good,
Okay.
of kids. And then we have councils, enough councils right now. So
we had a lot of people that spoke up on the host meeting yesterday and said that a lot of their numbers are down. And even the Hudson City School District said they're having trouble hiring, like even for their after school program right now. And they're having a lot of trouble with the summer program. I think that there's a lot of staff that, because they weren't hired last year, kind of went off and got new jobs and, you know, stayed with the full-time jobs. And I think there's a lot of staff that's not coming back because they're still concerned about the COVID-19. And there's a lot of the teenagers that don't want to get the vaccination. And so I think there's a lot going on there with hiring issues. So, but thank you. So
some just don't want to work either, but yeah.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Supervisor Holding.
But no, we're doing pretty good. Actually, we're doing really good right now. We'll, you know, so hopefully we can keep it that way.
Okay, thank you.
You know, but I'll have my director contact you with all this information and so forth.
Yeah, or if you just want to send, I think I might have the contact information. You might
You
have
probably
sent,
do. I think I sent it to you.
yeah, because I think I sent all the CDC stuff to them. And
Yes, you did.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So
Yep.
I'll look that up. And if I don't have it, I'll get in touch with you.
All right. Thank you very
Okay.
much.
Thank you.
Supervisor Holding, do you have a question or is your hand up from before?
I do. Is this clear? I left and came back on. Am I still feeding back?
Yeah, no, I can hear you. Okay.
Okay, I'm just wondering, Jessica, I just emailed you about the tennis program, but I feel like every time I'm at one of these meetings, I learn new things that my town's not taking advantage of. Can you send a summary either to me or to all supervisors with all the different programming, like the tennis program that can be offered to different town summer camps and town recreation programs that we might not be taking advantage of?
Sure. Do you want, I don't know if you have like any beaches. Do you have like swim holes or pools out that way? I know you're close to.
We have a pool. I don't think we're not doing swims this year, but include all the swimming stuff too, because we typically do swimming lessons at the high school individual.
Well, I know that that's a concern too with the swim programs. I've heard from several places, because, and even in other counties, when I've been on my Capital District meetings, they're saying that they're having trouble getting lifeguards now because nobody wants to take the lifeguard training classes and do the CPR and all of that stuff because of the COVID-19, and nobody wants to deal with any of that. So there's a shortage of lifeguards as well. So, but yeah, I can put
So-
something together. Cornell Cooperative Extensions offers some summer programming in some other places. It may cost you a little bit. They're not all offered for free. But
Okay,
you know,
if
I
you
can
could
see
just
that usually.
include that in your summary. You know, this is
Oh,
a
you're
free
breaking up
program. This
again.
costs money. Just kind of give me a full summary. You know, here's some free programs. Here's some programs that cost money, and just kind of line it all out for me.
Okay, I usually don't get that until, well, it might be like the end of May, beginning of June. They usually send something to me, like a summary of what they're offering, and I'll be sure to forward that to you. I don't have any of that right now, only other than what is offered like through the Youth Bureau, like the Junior Olympics, the tennis program. We have a few other places that do some freebies, like arts and crafts. They do literacy programs and things like that. So I can get that to you.
That would be great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Supervisor Adams, did you raise your hand?
I did, thank you. I just wanted to footnote what Jessica said about lifeguards. What we found, and one of the reasons we just decided on balance to offer the swim lessons, is that the parents were going to the swim instructors for private lessons because they felt that they couldn't have their kids miss lessons 2 years in a row.
Mhm.
And we've hired a full complement of lifeguards, but they, at least so far, and unless they don't show up, we didn't have any issues hiring lifeguards. And I also understood from the Department of Health that the camps in the southern part of the county are all going to be teaching swim lessons. So the residential camps are going to be teaching, we're teaching, Chatham is teaching, and I had heard that Hudson was teaching, but you're saying they're not.
I haven't heard that. And that's the program that we used to provide funding to them for.
Okay,
So the only thing that I heard from Carly, the clerk over there, she said they're still like totally in the process of planning, and that she wasn't sure. They were offering something and they were going to try to do it similar to what they did last year. She didn't mention anything about a swim program. I did speak with Mike West today from Crellin Park, and he said, yes, they are definitely going to be offering a swim program out there.
okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Any other questions for Jessica? Thank you, Jessica.
Thank you. Oh, somebody raised the hand again? No.
Brenda, did you raise your hand again?
Thanks. No, I just tried to take it down
Okay.
twice.
Yep.
Okay, thank
All
you.
right. Bob, are you on? Thank you, Jessica.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
We can, Bob.
I apologize for that earlier. So I'm set to go here. I have some requests first that I am asking for. Spent quite a bit of time yesterday going over with the budget committee some positions that I needed to, we're fine in, to fill. So I'm asking to fill 3 casework positions. They are, as I understand it, one of those hires will require a budget amendment because they were one of the positions that had been frozen. We did talk about that yesterday. I believe that that is something that the controller is going to help me with. So with that caveat, I would ask permission to fill 3 caseworker positions, 2 previously budgeted and 1 frozen that will be budgeted at the same amount.
I'll make the motion. Mushman.
Second,
Second, Morel.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So carried.
Okay, thanks very much. I also have a request, and I also brought this up yesterday with the Budget and Finance Committee. We have not hired, so we have 2 senior account clerk positions that operate out of our support collections unit. and they are to complement and check and balance one another. And that's per state regs. Now, presently, we only have one senior account clerk, and the checks and balances have actually been made with the director of support collections unit. So we have been able to carry on through the pandemic. But two things have come up. One, we don't want to continue on in that process. So eventually we are going to want to have two senior account clerk positions, each to counterbalance the other. And so we certainly want to go forward with that. And we want to get out of the business of having one of the checks and balances be done by the director, who, you know, it's not really, it's a union position, and there could be some questions that come up eventually. The union obviously had no issues during the pandemic, understanding everything that was going on, but going forward, it could become an issue. So we want to definitely get back up to having two senior account clerk positions as soon as we can.
Any questions?
I'll move it, Morel.
Second, Jerry. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So carried.
Okay, thank you. My third request today is to ask permission through the board to enter into a contract and agreement with Greater Hudson Promise Neighborhood. For some time, we've been pre-pandemic, we were talking about getting a prevention services coordinator position out there in the community. That would help my director of services here in-house oversee a lot of the contractual work that's going on in the neighborhood and in the schools. Greater Hudson Promise actually is a great place to look to contract for, because the executive director, Joan Hunt, has been working with Jen Gainey, my director, for some time now, is aware of the programs that I would like to enhance with some more oversight, including the after school and the summertime youth program transportation, because we would like to attract more students to that, and we also need to keep closer watch on the children that actually do use it, because there's always a chance that there's even more reimbursement that could come and increase the viability of the program. But long and short, having somebody under Joan Hunt out in the neighborhood, able to take measure of all these programs, from the after school programs to the school-based programs, is really going to help me harness my numbers a whole lot better, and inform me on where I want to move funding in and out of, where I want to enhance it, what programs maybe aren't as efficacious as we want them to be. So we need new programs to be brought to our attention. So that is the purpose of the contract that we would enter into with Hudson Promise Neighborhood.
Bob, what's the cost?
So the cost is going to be roughly, and I think it's about $65,000 a year, already set aside in our budgetary for prevention programs. So the net add to the county is not going to be any more than what's already been set aside for prevention programs.
Okay. So it'd just be like contracting with your many contractors.
Correct. Only this one more ideally, because they're really going to sort of oversee all of the contracts and sort of coordinate them for us.
Any other questions?
Is it a civil service position?
I'm sorry, say again, please.
Is this a civil service position?
Oh, it's not. It's going. That's why we're contracting it out. So I'm looking for a contracting service such as Hudson. We landed on Hudson Promise to take care of it. And it sort of provides a check and balance to my director of service, who obviously is here in the building and who is civil service.
Supervisor Mussman?
Now, just who is the audience? These are all your clients?
Well, as far as the audience, what is the client base that will be served?
Yeah, I mean, is this all children or is this just this children on services that are provided by DSS?
Well, that's a great question because I would say to begin with the latter, okay? But part of the thought process behind it is who is not being served that could be served, who's going to come to the attention, whether it's in the prevention network itself, or can these after school and summer youth programs be more fully developed? Can they? And the answer is, I think they can, and they don't all have to be, eligible through our programs in order for us to assist in transportation in any event. It helps, but they don't have to be. So, the short answer to that is, yeah, it's for all the open programs that are already going, and to see what we can do to enhance them. But it's also a way to see if we are leaving anybody unserved. And that would include people who wouldn't necessarily end up eligible, TANF eligible or Title 20 eligible, but you know what? They're youth and they can benefit from preventive programs.
So are you hiring this person or is Promise Neighborhood offering this person to you? It's just confusing to me.
Oh, that's a good question too. No, so I'm looking for the service, and Hudson Promise is going to provide that service. They're going to hire the person. They're going to train the person, and I'm simply going to be contracting and following, making sure that I'm getting what I'm contracting for.
So where's the accountability in all this? Are you I'm anyway, seems a little vague, but you understand it better than I do, I guess.
Yeah, but I'm happy to explain it as often and as much as I need to, if that will help.
Would this be ongoing?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be under the standard contracts that we have, so they'll be renewed year by year. The measuring will be done inside here to make sure, is this a program and is this a position and is this a measure that's going to increase where I hope it increases? So all those standards remain, and there's always a 30-day out with every contract that I do for each side.
Well, Bob, if we didn't contract with them, how would we take care of these items that they're doing? What would happen?
So, here's what we were doing. So let me give you an example of programs. Okay. So we're trying to get those buses filled up. We're trying to get them to the various youth programs, whether it be in the summer or whether it be during the school year. We need to get them from the school out to the programs and back. Now, I can cover that through what's called triple FS federal funding, which is 100% funding out of the federal government that does not hit the local till at all. But I have to demonstrate that the high percentage of the users are of a certain eligibility, okay? And so I have to track that eligibility right down to the individual. And that becomes very difficult in outside programs for my director of services. Okay, that makes them have to be out on the bus. That makes them have to be out at the school. That makes them have to be out at the different programs. And it also requires reporting to come back from a lot of these youth programs. And quite frankly, that's a difficult chore for them to do. all right, to get all the sign up sheets to us, to figure out whether they're Title 20 eligible, whether they're TANF eligible. That's all, information that has to be garnered. And it's with the families. And, that's not an easy task to do. It's certainly not one that's easy for my director to do. We can certainly do it and we can go out of our way to do it, or we can contract to do it and get much more, I think, much more efficient data that way. And I'm going to be able to tell for sure whether or not these programs are used as I want them to be used, can be enhanced if I want them to be enhanced. So that's why the thought was to put it out into contract.
Yeah, just if I could, and to answer Supervisor Mussman's, I think the accountability will be with Bob's staff to make sure that America's Promise is living up to their contract. So there would be a monitoring or contract compliance review.
Well, yeah, I mean that happens on a regular basis in any event.
Yep.
So that is very true. And we look at the metrics, and the ironic part of this is I want this service out there because it helps me do that with a lot of other programs. Okay, because I can get a better idea of what's going on inside of those with a contractor who's involved with a lot of those programs tangentially.
We have a motion, Bob.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.
Okay, and my fourth request is so we're getting through as you opened the meeting with Chairman, clearly getting through COVID, and we're hoping to continue on through. But a lot of things have come up with my staff during this entire time. We were working remotely. We were working understaffed. We were working in a lot of stress. And at the same time, a woman who used to provide counseling services for all of my workers was no longer able to come in. We sort of had to suspend that out of the training budget and keep that person sort of on hold. But we feel like we're ready to have her be available to be a resource for our workers again. Again, just a source where they can go if some stress is building up, if there happens to be any individual issue they want to bring up. And that is money available through the training contract that we have. So we just set aside a portion of that and we dedicate it to this particular person who is Pat O'Neill. She's obviously a certified counselor that can provide those services.
I'd like to make a motion, Adams.
Second,
Leader.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.
And then I just want to point out from the statistics, I had been asked by a supervisor, and I think it was a really good idea, and it was, and it's interesting because I had already undertaken the process anyway because I'm getting ready for the 2022 budget. But what I've put together and what I think I'm going to start making part of the monthly statistics is the caseload that we're carrying, and then the number of cases and or depending on the department, the number of children involved in a particular case so that people can start to see what the OCFS recommendation for caseloads and children on a caseload are, and then what the reality has become. Typically, when we're staffed as we want to be, we're right in lockstep with what the what state protocols are. But you can imagine we drop below it in times of like a pandemic, and yet we have not. Our standard hasn't been lowered, but our caseload per worker went up So I was asked to provide that. I'm happy to do that, but I think it makes sense for me to have that become part of the monthly statistics. So barring any objection going forward, beginning in June, I'll just be adding that to the monthly statistics.
Great. Thanks, Bob.
Thank you. I'm available for a little while. Unfortunately, I'm not sure I can stay past 4:45. So if there are any questions, I'll be here at least that long to answer them.
All right. Thank you, Bob.
Thank you.
Dan?
Good afternoon, everybody. Not too much on the agenda today. We'll start with the overtime report. As you can see, we have budgeted $12,000. There's been a slight bump in the amount of overtime that we've used at the Department of Human Services. It is currently at $783.90, bringing the available balance to $11,216.10. So the explanation for that, in case anyone's wondering, is that due to our staffing shortage in the clinical realm of the department, I've authorized clinical staff, both in the clinic and in the care coordination programs, to work up to an additional 5 hours each week. The reason that's happening in our care coordination program is because there's a staff person out on a maternity leave, and then we had someone on a medical leave. So the medical leave was unexpected. So that was kind of a double whammy, so to speak. And I believe everybody on the home committee is familiar with the kind of the staffing issues that the clinic specifically is facing. If you're not, in a nutshell, it's basically that we're having difficulties identifying suitable candidates to bring on board to fill those vacancies. So I felt it was important to offer the opportunity for as much as 5 hours per individual per week of overtime. And some staff have volunteered for that. It was a voluntary type of request. Okay. So this first resolution has to do with the Office of Persons with Developmental Disabilities, OPWDD for short, basically making an announcement that the state aid that they normally offer to Columbia County, that Columbia County then passes on to our one IDD provider in Columbia County, which is COARC, will not be passed on in this particular year. So I think we're all good as far as the accounting goes. At least that's what I've been told by Joe, and Ron can speak to that. But we need a resolution so that we can go and adjust the contract that the Department of Human Services has with COARC, so we can bring that into a line with the realities of them not receiving this state aid at this point.
Any questions?
I'll move it. Sterling.
Second?
I'll second Westman.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Thank you for your support. This next resolution is a personnel resolution regarding a resignation. That's a bit of a tongue twister. So unfortunately, we had one of our senior clinicians, supervisor, submit a resignation. And as a result, we're going to be promoting from within. We've already identified and named the candidate. We did interviews. So a employee named Natasha Robinson has been promoted into the new role of clinical supervisor. She worked with us in a capacity of a psychiatric social worker. So that's the higher grade for our clinical staff. So we're looking to backfill that budgeted position with the lower titles of behavioral health social worker or senior behavioral health social worker, whichever one we can find. Remember, the behavioral health social worker is 17C, and that's a person that has an LMSW, a licensed master's level social work. The 18C, the senior behavioral health social worker, still comes in well below the psychiatric social worker title and grade, but that person is required to have an LCSW, and the LCSWs are what we need to see Medicare clients, as well as certain third-party insurances.
Any questions?
I'll move it, Morel.
Second?
Adams?
Adams, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, and this resolution is also a personnel resolution we're asking for your support in, at this point, we'd like to expand our clinical workforce. So with the understanding that it's still been difficult to identify candidates, what we've been doing up until now is basically as someone retires or leaves for another position, we've been backfilling that vacancy. So that's pretty much kept us where we are at in terms of our clinical staffing. And we've managed, but what that's not allowed us to do is to operationalize things like our open access walk-in clinic and several other modalities. So by approving these two additional previously budgeted vacant positions, but they were part of the freeze that occurred, but by allowing us to seek these candidates and fill these vacancies, we would be able to broaden our ability to provide behavioral health services to the Columbia County community in a way that we haven't been able to do since before the pandemic. So one of the caveats around this has to do with, you all may remember, I think it was in the last home committee meeting, I spoke about an allocation that was made to us by an entity known as Better Health of Northeast New York, BINI for short. And this is an entity that the Department of Human Services has been partnering with for approximately 5 years. They have requested us to participate in certain initiatives where we would gather data for them and submit the data on a monthly basis. And there was an incentive, a financial incentive for participating and providing them with the data throughout the 5-year continuum. But at the very end, because the Better Health of Northeast New York initiative has sunsetted, it's ended, they had additional monies left over. So they created some sort of an algorithm and they distributed the remaining monies to all of the participating providers. Us being one of them, we received a check for the amount of $588,000. So in having conversations with Chairman Morell, Chairman Lagonia, and others, it was suggested, and I'm certainly agreeable to it, that a portion of that funding go towards funding one of these positions, and the other position that I'm asking for, the second position, be funded through county tax dollars.
I'll make the motion.
Mussman, second.
Sterling, second.
Sterling, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Thank you very much. That will go a long way in terms of helping us meet the need, reducing the wait list. Hopefully we can identify some candidates to bring on board. Just as a side note, I want to let everybody know we had a very positive interview with a candidate last Friday. We're on the verge of we offered her the position. We're just trying to figure out a start date. So we've identified one. We have a few more to fill. Hopefully they'll start materializing. So this final resolution has to do with a payer, an insurance company that we would like to partner with, so that we can, again, broaden the reimbursement capabilities, capabilities of the clinic. So I ask for your support in terms of partnering with Humana.
Motion?
All that, Patsy.
Second, Patsy, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? So carried.
Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Danny.
I got a question for you,
Oh,
Dan.
sure.
Sure.
There used to be that monthly report that Michael put out, and I think you did. I can see you smiling there. I
Yes, I
love
am.
that report. I thought it was so useful and helpful to know what's going on. Is it possible to resurrect that?
Absolutely, Sarah. I think I offered that once during my tenure, starting in March. I'll be happy to resurrect that. If it would be okay, I'd ask, and if it's not, please tell me. But I'd like to go, maybe bi-monthly or quarterly, because I think there's, sometimes things change very quickly. But if I gave it to you monthly, I think there would just be a lot of repetition in the report. So I don't know if Michael gave it monthly or quarterly. Does anybody recall? But I would ask for bi-monthly or quarterly.
It was monthly, and it was the same one that he gave to the Community Services Board.
Right, yes.
But I can see, it doesn't have to be repetition all the time.
I could see bi-monthly, Dan, on that, but it used to be monthly and it was repetitious a lot.
Okay, so let's do this. I will have one prepared for the home committee for next month's committee meeting. And we'll go from there. And if it's okay, we'll try bi-monthly. And if you'd like it more frequently, just let me know and I'll do that. I'll be happy to oblige.
I think that'll be fine, Dan. Thank you.
Okay,
Thanks,
Just,
Dan.
I have a question.
okay.
Go ahead.
Does, by providing this report, does it take you away from other things like bi-monthly? I'm sure information that goes into this report can be time consuming. So my suggestion would be quarterly, but I just need to hear, how much time goes into this, that it's taking you away from something else that you might need to be doing.
Right. Well, first of all, let me say thank you for the sensitivity with regard to my time. I really do appreciate that. I don't think so. I mean, what I'll just have to do is just keep a running log as things come to my attention. I'll keep a document, an open document, a Word document, and just start to add things to it, and then tidy it up and edit it so that it's in a final draft form for all of you come the home committee meeting. That's how I've done it previously. But my objective was to avoid the redundancy because I wanted to have value to all of you. I want to be respectful of your time and not give you a document that, is pretty much identical to what you received last month, except for a few nuance type of differences. So I think bi-monthly might be a nice compromise. We'll see. Let's have a conversation about it once you've received a few bi-monthlies. If I'm, being taken away from other tasks, I'll ask you to consider quarterly. If you're telling me, Dan, this is still very redundant, we'll move to quarterly. We can have that conversation, but I apologize for not having it to you, but I certainly didn't forget about it. Thank you, Sarah. Sorry, Supervisor Sterling.
Thank you, Dan.
Thanks.
All right. Have a good evening, everybody.
Thank you. Kevin?
I'm here. Okay, I've got two resolution requests. The first one is to create and fill a temporary position of site worker. Currently, we have two site workers, one full-time and one part-time, who are out on medical leave, and they're probably going to be out at least all summer. And in combination with this, we've also had a recent resignation of one of our other part-time site workers. So I talked with Michael, and I talked with Civil Service about the possibility of creating just a temporary position to fill in basically over the summer to make sure that we're fully staffed in the kitchen. This pays a whole whopping salary of $12.98 an hour. We were fortunate I think we found a young man who is off for the summer from his regular job, and he has worked for us before, so it sounded like a perfect fit, as far as what we wanted to do. And again, this is a temporary position. It'll go away at the end of August.
Any questions?
It's awful. That's an awfully cheap salary.
It is, and we've had this discussion. Fortunately, Supervisor Lagonia has been kind enough to sit down with me. We've had these discussions, and it's something that we're really going to have to take a look at down the line. But that's the salary that's in the contract. So,
Thanks.
Any other questions?
I'll move it, Morel.
Second?
Patsy.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
okay, thank you. My second resolution is to provisionally promote two individuals, one who holds the title of clerk typist and the other with keyboard specialist, to the position of community service assistant. These positions would become permanent upon successful passing of a promotional civil service exam. Basically, what the reason for this is we do a HEAP program, a home energy or heating assistance program that is funded through social services. And we have in the past hired two temporary workers, retired workers, to come back in the fall to work a few months for us processing HEAP applications. What's happened primarily due to COVID is this HEAP, the HEAP has never ended. The program has remained open. We continue to get emergency requests. We're up to, I think they allow up to 3 emergencies now, and usually every day we're getting 1 or 2. And we need staff to be here to handle that. That's why we would like to upgrade these 2 individuals, and that would be a new duty that each one of them will be taking on. I know on paper it looks like we would be raising our budget by about $12,000, but in reality, the money that we get from social services to fund this program, we have $11,000 left over. Plus, we have the temporary salaries of or the salaries of these temporary workers amount to about $6,300 each. Would more than compensate for these raises, these upgrades. And then if this were all to happen, upon their successful completion of their civil service exams, we would then go ahead and abolish the positions of clerk typist and keyboard specialists.
I think this is the wrong resolution up, Kelly. I think it was.
Yeah, it is.
There you
I'm
go.
sorry.
Sorry, Kevin went out of order
That's okay. There you go.
from his agenda.
Your hand up. Was it Supervisor Adams?
Yes, thank you. Kevin, did this moved from seasonal to full-time because we had more funding, because the state opened the program? What was the trigger for moving it to a year-round program, and will that continue?
Well, it just never closed. Usually the state will come out and announce that HEAP is closed at a certain point. They've never closed. They keep extending it. And like I said, and the other thing too with these 2 individuals, they perform a lot more than their clerical tasks. They are both very efficient in the information that is required by a lot of people who call for services and programs. They know where and who to refer people to. And like I said, they're just doing a lot more than answering the phone and typing. We've also increased our newsletters from twice a year to 4 times a year, and they're the ones that put that together also. So it's just that like I said, in the emergency HEAP things, we have to have somebody here to handle them. It's not something we can put off for a day or 2.
Supervisor Mussman?
I don't have anything to say.
Okay, your hand's up.
Sorry, I thought
That's
I loved.
I move it. Eldridge?
Second?
Patsy.
All in favor?
I
Opposed? So carried.
Okay, thank you very much. That's all I have as far as resolutions. It's kind of been brought to my attention. I know last month, and I thanked the supervisors for their patience with the presentation that was given from Evergreen Pilot Program. It was only supposed to last for 15 minutes, and I know it went on for an hour. And I believe there's still a lot of questions about it. I'm going to try to alleviate some of that right now, if you don't mind, and I'll only take a few minutes just to kind of bring you up to date. Again, the purpose of having them here was just to kind of introduce their concept to the community, so that somewhere down the line, if you hear this name, you'll know what it involves. Our only part in this whole thing, at least for right now, is what we're going to be doing. We're going to be sending letters out to our clients, okay, informing them that this pilot project is coming down, and asking them if they want to participate. No pressure is going to be put on them. It's a simple, I'll participate, or no. And if they do participate, of course, we'll do all kinds of, proper confidentiality screenings and, consent forms to exchange information. And then they can take it from there, whether or not they want to participate. But it's kind of like a home care program. The purpose is to keep people in their home as safely as they can for as long as they can, and alleviate the premature going to a nursing home or another kind of institution. Like I said, under no circumstances will we distribute any confidential information to this agency. I'll certainly keep you updated as best I can. As far as we have a phone call with them later this week to kind of see where they're at or what they're going to be doing. We're kind of hopeful that I think this is what they're proposing is possibly coming down the pike in the future. One of the other things it's designed to do is to prevent unnecessary emergency room visits. Like I said, it's kind of a whole new concept. And like I said, we're hoping that some of our clients may, if they decide to partake in this, that hopefully they'll benefit from this. Again, it's a pilot program. They're looking for X number of clients. I think 300, I believe, 200 from us, and 300 altogether. From either Medicaid or from private pay people. And like I said, it's a 2-year project. And like I said, it's kind of like a wait and see to see where this goes. But as far as the county goes, I think our only involvement right now is, just asking our clients if they want to participate in this program. So, I hope I haven't caused for more questions, but I'm just trying to explain a little bit why they were here. If anybody has any questions, I'll try to answer them if I can.
Yeah, I have one. Sorry I couldn't be at that meeting, but my concern is that there's a whole lot of people on that board, and then they're again hiring people at minimum wage to do these jobs. And I just suspect this is for them to make a lot of money, and the worker is maybe going to be paid $12 or up to $15 an hour, and then we can't get those people. With the home health care people we have now aren't paying people enough to travel around the county. So how are
very good, very good observation, Supervisor. That was going to be one of my next things I wanted after we get off of this evergreen thing. As far as there's a critical shortage of personal care aides out there. That was one of the other things I wanted to discuss, later, in a few moments. But no, you're correct. I don't know how they're going to do this either. I really don't. I don't know where they're going to get the work staff from, but I know that remains to be seen, because you are correct. The agencies, at least that we contract with for this personal care aid, they're very rarely will they accept a new case. They're kind of maxed out. They can't find the aides either with what they're paying. And like you said, the other thing is to travel, to travel from one town to the next, with as far as mileage, gas, and so forth. But that's something that I wanted to talk about in a few moments. But you're correct. That remains to be seen how they're going to do this.
Kevin, I have some questions about this, because basically I think the county is being asked to develop clients for their business, and I think that's a real conflict of interest for the county to do that. I mean, I don't understand why they can't do this on their own. Why do they need the county's access to these clients to build their business when they should be able to figure this out for themselves? Just repeat, I think it's a real conflict of interest. I don't have, I'm not talking about the program, I'm talking about the county delivering people to this business.
Well, the New York State Office for the Aging they're fully behind this project, okay? And we obviously discussed that same thing as far as the confidentiality issue. But like I said, we're not going to be promoting this program or pushing it. We're just simply going to ask our clients if they would like to participate in it. I believe that it's going to be a sliding scale fee, if any fee at all, for our clients. And like I said, I know they're getting funding from another source, and I believe the state is also funding part of this. So I don't know. I don't know if this is, like I said, I certainly see your concern. But like I said, we are not going to put any pressure on our clients to partake of this.
Kevin, is the state, when you say the state is behind this, is the state asking you to, or asking us, or asking counties to refer clients?
Well, yes, yeah. Well, not to refer them, but to at least to let our clients be aware of this.
Okay.
We're not going to be referring anyone to them. All we're going to do is ask our clients if they want to participate. Again, and by the state, I'm talking about the New York State Office for the Aging. They were part of this whole proposal. I believe the whole goal of this, again, is to eliminate unnecessary placements in nursing homes and institutions, to save on EMS calls. I know PJ Keeler has been privy to this too, as far as his role as as far as the emergencies go. And the other goal, I think what they're anticipating is that right now they have the telemedicine going on with the hospital, in conjunction with the hospital. And I think the anticipation is that insurance companies will eventually start paying for a lot of this.
Kevin, I think the concern is not the idea of this. I think the idea of it has merit. The concern is the county being involved with even asking clients that are county clients if they want to participate with this specific company. Are there other companies out there? Are we suggesting that there are 3 or 4 companies and we're saying, hey, there's these 3 companies if anybody's interested? Or is it specifically this one company?
No, this is a pilot program. This one company has gotten together with different providers to come up with this whole type of a program. But again, as far as I know, like I said, there's no other companies that I know of that are offering this. I think, and to be honest with you, I think Columbia County was chosen because one of the participants in this is an elder law attorney who is from Columbia County and has seen some of the problems that elderly people are experiencing because of not having home care aides or not having relatives in the area. And I think maybe that's why Columbia County was chosen to be part of this project.
Supervisor Berry?
The more I'm listening to this, I share Supervisor Mussman's concern about conflict of interest. And now I'm hearing that there's an attorney involved who.
Well, that's the attorney is an elder law specialist. That's what he does. That's all he does is elder law, and he has forums all the time. But hey, like I said, if the county is really that uncomfortable about this, we can readdress this with them if you'd like me to do that. Because like I said, we're meeting with them again sometime this week as far as a conference call to see where they're at or what they're doing.
I would prefer that. I would like to hear what the relationships are between this board of directors and anybody else that is working or has a practice in Columbia County. I'm not sure I agree with giving out the client list for Columbia County either. And I also agree with Supervisor Livonia that if we're going to do something like this, we should give them options if we want to undertake something like this. We shouldn't be getting in the business of telling people to use this vendor and pay money to this vendor, especially when we don't know what the relationships are between all of these different parties. That's my 2 cents.
Okay. I can certainly talk with them about that. Okay.
I have a question, Kevin.
Yes.
It's Kathy. Right. When somebody's in a hospital and they're going home, they're given a list of services, people so they would be added to this list of services, like you've got Anytime, you've got Favorite, you've got Medical Staffing Network, you've got the Eddie, you've got all these other different home care places that go in, they would just be added to that list of something to pick from?
Probably, I would think
Okay.
so.
So it wouldn't be like we were, because the hospital, they, if memory serves me correctly from, working in an assisted living, that they have to be provided with more than one. You can't
Right.
pick. The county's not able to just say this is who you use. So it would
Right,
you have to
right.
be given an option. So that I do know. So,
Right.
okay.
Kevin, let me just suggest that you have that conversation, but you put a halt to all of this until
Mhm.
we have more information for this whole committee, and
Yeah.
before we move forward, that the whole committee is comfortable in moving in that direction. I think the committee needs more information. So I think
Okay, and how do we go about doing that, Supervisor? I mean, as far as, should we try to set something up with them and somebody from the board, or how do we go about doing that?
Well, I think we need a little more information in reference to the specifics of the pilot program that you referenced. I'm not sure what that is. Maybe some of the information from the state that's coming down that's asking us to be involved with this. And I realize what you're saying is, in some way, Kevin, we are kind of, if it comes from the county's OFA office and we're suggesting that or asking clients if they want to participate, they're going to listen to the county because they trust the county. So it kind of is going to give an edge to a company if we're only suggesting one company. I think and none of us understand really who this company is. So I don't see us really doing that in other areas. So I guess it's a little bit of a situation where it's uncomfortable for everybody here. So I think
Okay.
we need more information.
Okay. Okay, I'll ask them to put some kind of something in writing and get it out to all the supervisors. Does that sound doable?
I think that's a
Or
start.
something that you,
We'll have to have a
pardon me?
larger conversation with the group to decide if, in fact,
Okay.
something we're comfortable with.
Yeah,
Okay,
and
all right.
I would think we should vote on whether we do this or not.
Well, I would just say, and they can recruit clients on their own any way they want to. I mean, without us referring.
Right, and I'm glad you brought that up, Chairman, because that's what they have been doing. Because we've gotten information that from them that they're involved with some of our clients, and we didn't get them involved with them. They got involved on their own.
Yeah, but nobody has.
So they have been in this area for several years. They have a number of clients on their own right here.
But I don't think anybody has an issue, Kevin, with them recruiting their own clients.
Mhm.
I think that that's not the issue at all. I mean, I think the issue
Okay.
is that if they're trying to build their own business and they're recruiting clients, however they go about it, that's the onus is on them, as opposed to, Columbia County maybe pushing people toward them. I think that's where the comfort
All
comes.
righty.
So
Supervisor Adams had her hand up for a while now.
Thanks, Kelly. So Kevin, the question I had was, how large is our client list? And I missed the last committee meeting as well. So I'm just wondering, has the committee had the benefit of seeing what the solicitation looks like? What is the solicitation that's going out to the clients? Is it in the form of a letter?
We haven't sent anything out yet. That's what the proposal was going to be. It was a form of a letter.
Because that might answer a number of these questions if we could see what was being asked and how it was being presented.
Okay, all right. I can ask for a draft letter, that we'd be putting together.
Yeah, I think anything that comes from us implies that we have vetted it and approved it.
Exactly.
And I'm not comfortable with that yet.
Okay. But to answer her other question, right now we've got almost close to 250 clients that are receiving home delivered meals. Okay, that's the crux of most of our workload, is the home delivered meals. We only have 46 clients right now that are receiving what we call ISEP services, which is the expanded in-home care. But out of that 46, 26 are on a waiting list, to get an aid, because, like I said, as I said before, there's a critical shortage of aides, home care aides, personal care aides.
So
Like,
one-
and I believe that's why our client list, our clients are so low. People know that that they're not going to get an aide, that they're not going to be able to. And that's one of the primary reasons why they want the ISIP program. I mean, we do other services too, but the primary service with an ISIP case is to provide some personal care aides. You know.
Are there any other questions for that?
I just have a comment. I was talking to the Berkshire Farm this week, and I understand that their hiring has also been difficult in terms of finding the right people with the right skill sets. But the other piece that's been so hard for them is so many of the people that do the kind of work that they're hiring for are women. And until people understand that their children are going to have either summer programs or or full schooling in the fall, these women are not going back to work because they don't have childcare. So childcare, I think, is playing a big part in this shortage of workers.
Well, and the other part of it is the additional unemployment. When you look at 300 additional unemployment, if somebody makes $15 an hour, it's $360 or $345 plus 300. It's $665. If they work for $15 an hour, 40 hours a week, they'd make 600. So there is people are making the choice to collect a higher amount of money by staying home.
I would just like to make one final comment about all of this. I mean, my business has members, and I never release my members to anyone who asks me for any reason. And the other issue is that this population is extremely vulnerable, and I think it's our responsibility to be very careful when we share this information with other people who especially, I understand they want to help, but they also are very interested in building their business. And I think that, for me, is extremely dangerous, and it strikes of a bit too cozy of a relationship with a business and a county. So just last thoughts about this. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, Kevin, is there anything?
Okay, could I just move on to the aid thing, and then I'll be done?
Yes,
Supervisor.
absolutely.
Like I said, we about 3 years ago, we realized that we could not get aides for a lot of our cases. We had a committee. We met weekly or monthly, I should say, with the then chairman of the board, trying to figure out how to go about doing this. We even put an RFPs out as far as trying to get someone to step forward to take care of hiring and providing aids for our clients. We got absolutely nowhere. So last year, I should say 2 years ago, we discussed all this, and we put it in our budget to hire our own personal care aides. I believe we wanted 3, but we only put in for 2 in our budget, and for the 2021 budget, to hire our own healthcare aides. And then with the pandemic breaking out and so forth, we kind of like backed off for a while. But and we were hoping that somewhere down the line, someone would step in and help raise the hourly wage. That's why they can't get any aides with what they're paying them. We contract with 4 different agencies, and none of them, at least to my knowledge, are paying for mileage for these folks, or they're paying for their time in between point A and point B. So again, we came up with the proposal of hiring our own aides. We got approval from the state as far as setting our program up, and then the pandemic hit, so we just kind of backed off of it. But in discussing this, with Supervisor Lagonia, I just thought it might be nice to bring this up again and see where the committee wants to go with this. As far, pardon me? yeah, other counties are starting to do this now too. They no longer can depend on these outside agencies to provide the care. Like I said, we've got a couple of people that have been on a waiting list for over 4 years trying to get a home care aide. And, you know, and before it used to just be people in the outlying areas, but now we're having problems right here locally as far as getting our client service. And, you know, it's just something, I don't know if we want to proceed down this path. I'm just looking for some guidance. I would like to, it's very disheartening to tell some of our people that, you know, we can't help you. We can't get somebody in your house to come in and do some of your basic chores and maybe do some shopping or light housekeeping, laundry, cooking some meals, etc. It's really disheartening to have to tell people that.
Kevin, we got out of the business of the CHA and everything. Was that all nursing? So this is a different structure?
Yes, this is an entirely different structure. Yep. Yeah, this has nothing to do with nursing or any kind of medical care at all. It's strictly, you know, going in. The most that someone would be asked to do is maybe assist someone with showering or bathing, you know, home care, grooming, that type of stuff. But a lot of it is just basic, going in and providing a couple hours a week, you know, maybe vacuuming or doing some laundry, things of that nature.
Yes.
And believe it or not, simple things like this will help keep someone in their home and not having to go into an institution.
I think we could pay more if we're doing it ourselves.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, absolutely. I think at the time that we did all this, we were looking at maybe $15 an hour, but in 2 years, I would say we would have to go up to 20 easily in order to compete. And we would also pay for, we would provide them hopefully with a vehicle to go from point A to point B. And we would also pay them for their time that it takes to travel to Gallatin or someplace, you know, farther, New Lebanon, maybe. You know, again, that's like a 45-minute ride. And, you know, if these agencies now are not paying somebody for that time, they're not going to get anybody to do it. You know, we would offer that out as part of our package to provide them with a means of transportation to these places and also pay them for their time getting there. You know, and they would be hired on a per diem basis. They're not going to be getting benefits or anything like that. We just wanted to know if that's something that the committee would like us to continue exploring, you know, with COVID here now.
It's in the budget already?
Yes, the two positions,
Go for it.
there are two part-time positions that have been budgeted. We just stopped that. They were going to raise the hourly rate for this stuff, and they didn't do it. You know, it was taken out of the budget. They were going to put extra money in the budget to help fund this, and they took it out at the last minute. So
I think it makes sense, Kevin, to pursue it and get back to us with.
Okay, beautiful. That's what I was hoping to hear.
I just wanted to have Kevin present that to the committee so they understand where we're at with that. Everybody agrees with that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, will do. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Kevin. Anything else?
Thanks, Kevin.
All right. I think, Kevin, you're free.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, folks.
And last
Have a good
but
day.
not least, Mr. Mab.
You want to listen to that or
Linda has raised a hand again. Did you have, your hand is up, Linda?
No.
You know, I lower it and then it says I've raised it. So
I think there's something going on internet wise, Linda.
I'm
It's not
fine.
you.
Okay.
I'm ready
good.
to listen, Jack. No hands. Everything's good.
I only have one resolution here, and this is just additional funding. This is year 3 funding from the Healing Community Study, $168,214.42. For the whole year, they're giving us an insane amount of $842,693.22. This is just accepting the money that they want to keep throwing at us. It's like I say, for me, it's crazy money, but we take it. And this money is dedicated towards salaries. It doesn't fully cover the $270,000 salaries that we're paying through various subcontracts, but there's rollover money that we can only use for salaries, and there's enough in there for the salaries for year 3. So this doesn't cost the county any money. We just get the $168,000 and continue to pay for the Healing Community Studies grant.
Great.
I'll move it, Morel.
Second. Patsy, all in favor?
Aye.
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 So carried.
So you have my environmental report. Just a couple of things I want to just mention. Some of you know that we have an outbreak at Barnwell, 16 residents, 11 staff. We dug a little bit deeper with those because it is a logical question to ask. The Walgreens and CVS went through the nursing homes and vaccinated people. Why do we have 16 residents who are positive? Out of the 16, 10 of those 16 did not want to be vaccinated. They're not vaccinated. 6 are vaccinated. The good news is nobody is having severe symptoms. Of the 11 staff, none of them are vaccinated. And so this is going to continue to be a problem because we're finding in other areas, even at the hospital, there's plenty of people that did not want to be vaccinated, and so they're right in the medical field, and they're not vaccinated. Patsy's got her hand up.
Well, you know I would. So I was just on the phone with them for another issue the other day, and I brought up, I said, oh, I heard you guys are doing it again, another outbreak. And of course, it was like very cushioned and sugar-coated to me. And I said, okay, stop blowing air. And I said, let's talk. So I was told that they still do testing twice a week to all staff. And I said, okay, and that the patients that came in were new patients that they didn't know if they were vaccinated or not. And I said, really? She said, well, most of them, didn't get vaccinated. I said, are you vaccinating there? You need help? Let us know. I did overhear that there's been quite a few, not quite a few, but there might have been a little bit more deceased members lately coming out of there. To be honest with you, Jack, I overheard that from the death certificate people, all right? So we have to look at that also. But they are, sugarcoating a little bit. But how can they be testing twice a week, everybody there that comes in, and they still have these numbers? That's I asked them, they couldn't answer me. They kept changing the subject, and I said, I'm not gonna leave you alone. So they couldn't answer that. So are they really testing? That's my issue too. I mean, I don't know what you've heard.
Well, they are testing, and before the outbreak, they were testing once a week, and that's what they were supposed to do. Those reports all end up in eclairs, and we see them all. So we do see the negatives as well as the positives. So they are testing, and our understanding is that they created a separate unit for anybody who's new to the facility, any residents of the facility, and the outbreak was confined to that unit. The problem that we have is this is a facility that even through the worst of the outbreak back last May and June, they continue to move staff around the facility. And I don't like it when I see there's 11 staff now that are positive, because I know they're moving those people around the facility, those staff.
They were moving staff because I did talk to somebody that worked there that did have the virus and now has been vaccinated. And they do go here and there because of short staff. And you know how it is on all these facilities. And that's what she told me, that she goes from this floor to that floor.
Yeah.
So I mean, we're not police that we can stay at the door and tell them what to do, and I understand that, but they're going to do what they have to do to keep everybody there also. I did hear it was on one floor though, the new people.
Yeah, that's what we've heard too. The other thing I wanted to mention is that the schools polled the parents of 12 to 15-year-olds in the county. There's about 2,000 children who are qualified as 12 to 15-year-olds. And as of yesterday, we were up to 525 children whose parents want them to have the vaccine. That's 25%, a lot better than we did with the 16 and 17-year-olds. We ended up doing about 15% of them. So we're going to be doing, we ordered a full tray of Pfizer for next week. We're going to be doing schools at the end of next week and the beginning of the following week. There are activities for the week that I would just pass this on. Yesterday, we did a couple of migrant farms. We're doing very well with those. We're at the Chatham Fair as we speak right now, 4 to 6. We're doing Homebound tomorrow. We're at Harrington's and Stone Ledge Farm, which is another migrant farm, on Thursday. Friday, we have Yonder Packing House. And Saturday, we're back in Hudson for second doses at the firehouse. And Linda, don't forget the cookies. Right?
Which cookies?
Rick is bringing the cookies.
Oh, Rick is bringing the cookies? I thought it was- Okay, so somebody has to tell Rick not to forget the cookies.
All right.
We will. And the coffee.
And the coffee, of course. So that's just some highlights, I guess, I wanted to pass on to you. And if you have any other questions or anything else for me, I'm here.
Anything else for Jack? Questions?
I think you should get the governor to go to Barnwell.
Jack,
right
did you have to
outside.
go into executive session or?
Linda, let's do it.
All right, I'll call him.
Well, is that part of the agenda, Chairman?
Yes.
Okay. So I guess that somebody there has to request the executive session.
Right.
Or I request the executive session.
Right.
I'll
So
make a motion to go into executive session.
second,
Eldridge.
all in favor? Aye.
To
This is,
discuss,
by the way, this is to discuss personnel.
To discuss personnel.
Yes.
Yep. Oswaldo, let us know when you're good.
Okay, if there's nothing else, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll
Sterling,
make that motion. Or second.
Favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So carried. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks,
Thank
everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.